everybody. My name is Dave Canyon. Welcome back to the Worldwide Travel Podcast. We are four people from all over the world, which we'll meet in a second. And we are here to talk about worldwide travel and sometimes just other means of travel. And let me introduce you to everybody. I learned my lesson. I'm not going to point to where they are because when I edit this, they're never where I'm pointing. So stop pointing. No more pointing. All right. Alexandra, you are here in the room. We're going alphabetical order today. Say hello. You are in Romania.
That's right. Hi, everyone.
Okay, sounds good. Elsa Sarkis, did I pronounce that right? Elsa Sarkis. She's in the UAE, and she's part of our team. And Elsa, hello, how are you?
Hello. I am good. And how are you, David?
I am fantastic now. It's great to see you. And of course, Luke, the founder of Worldwide Travel, is in a place I love saying over and over again. I talk about it to all my friends about this place. Milton Keynes with an N, K-E-Y-E-N-E-S, right?
Yes.
Three E's, K-E-Y-E-N-E-S. That's a lot of E's in one place. Luke, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. All right, so Worldwide Travel Podcast, we've spoken with other people who are from all over the world. We have different guests. Look us up on YouTube. We have episodes that are up there. We have guests. Sometimes we should talk about amongst ourselves. Today we're going to talk amongst ourselves, and hopefully we'll bring you a brilliant hour of podcasting. Luke traveled recently to a concert, to a Limp Bizkit concert in another part of the world. So Luke, why don't you share with us the story? The theme of today's show is travel and music, right? I got that right?
Yeah.
So go ahead, take it away, Luke.
So yeah, last week we was at a concert in London, so not too far away from here. But I have a story around the concert. So we got there, and it was supposed to start around 6 o'clock, which we all know when you go to a concert, they don't start on time. They have warm-up bands and all these things. So we got there at 6. We expected around 8 o'clock they would be starting. It wasn't the case. They started around 20 to 10, so more than 3 hours of waiting. And we got bored of the warm-up band, so we stayed in the bar for a bit, drinking £9 beers. And because Nelly was working on Monday, the day after the concert, and my brother was there with us, and he was working as well. So we had to leave the concert after an hour to get the last train home. And yeah, we had a mad rush back to the station to get our train. And my brother got home at 1 a.m. No, sorry, my brother got home at 2 a.m. We got home at 1 a.m. Yeah, so it was a bit of a disaster.
All right, let's recap. Luke, you are in Milton Keynes. You've unpacked a little bit. We're going to unpack some more. How did you travel to? Where did you travel to?
We got a train from where we live to London, and then another further underground from there to go to Wembley.
All right,
And the concert
1 second.
was
Hold on. Tell us about the train ride. There's a train station in Milton Keynes?
yeah, there is.
Of course, because it's a brand new city, so of course they have a train station. Good. So you're taking a train. It's not an underground. It's okay. So a train, and you take it. How long is the trip to where you go?
Around half an hour. It's not
Oh,
too
Okay,
bad.
so it's not.
Okay.
That's not that bad. All right, but you have to leave the house at what time? Where you live?
Well, we wanted to get there early so we could eat something, drink a beer, get prepared and everything. We didn't know how big the crowds were going to be and things like that, so we wanted to get there in plenty of time.
Right. So what time did you leave
Um,
the house?
we got a train at 2 o'clock, so around 1
2
o'clock.
o'clock.
Yeah,
You caught a 2 o'clock train, so you left your house at 1 o'clock.
around 1, yeah.
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You get to the train 2 o'clock. You get to the
Yeah.
train station, and it's 2:30, 2:40.
No, our train was leaving at 2, so
Yeah.
we got
So you
to-
get
oh,
it leaves, and then it arrives at the underground, your transfer point.
yeah,
with
so we
what
had
time?
to get to Euston and then get a further underground from there to get to where we were going.
How
Yeah.
long is that underground ride?
20 minutes.
Okay, so that's about an hour of train
Yeah.
travel.
Yeah.
You left early because you wanted to be prepared for food and beverage and a little tailgating, meeting the other Limp Bizkiters, right? The other
Well, the plan was to get there early and get to a pub and drink a beer at reasonable prices, so we didn't have to drink a beer at the venue, which didn't really
Right.
work out.
It didn't.
Well, we had a beer before, but
Yes.
then we wasn't expecting the warm-up bands to be so long and boring, so we decided to have more beer at the venue, which
Did you?
cost £9 a beer.
Right. So the one beer plan out the door. You are
Yeah,
now into multiple beers.
yeah,
And I think I heard you say, I've never heard this phrase before. Did you say a 9-pound beer?
yeah.
Does everybody know what that? I don't know what that is. So you're gonna have to explain 9-pound beer.
Well,
That's
the price.
the price, yeah.
What's that?
The price was £9.
Oh, 9 pounds. Again, ignorant American. What do I know? Like, what's 9 pounds of beer? You paid 9 pounds for a beer. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you going back and forth from the pub to the venue?
No. So we went to the venue. We went to the pub first, and then got to the venue like, I don't know, 5:30, ready for 6 o'clock. We knew it wasn't going to be 6 o'clock because obviously concerts never are on time.
No.
They have the warm-up bands, but we weren't expecting 3.5 hours of warm-up bands.
Really? How many bands took up 3.5 hours?
5, I think.
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
warm-up bands. We thought it was a bit excessive. And this is what I wanted to get to as well on this podcast. I hate the culture around concerts.
All
Right,
right. All right. Let's unpack that.
Let's unpack that.
We're unpacking.
Because,
Today, Luke, is your day. We're going to unpack your life right now.
This is
All right.
this is the day of airing of grievances around
Yes.
what's going.
All right. So you have three.
Sorry, just
Right.
wanted to say that's like $12 beer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So you don't like the culture. When you say culture, you mean lots of people, crowds, loud noises? What are we
not
talking about
exactly
here?
this. What I mean is, when you go to a sporting event, you know for a fact what time it's going to start.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you go to a concert, you're there for a 6 o'clock start, but you have no idea what time your band that you booked is going to start. You have absolutely no idea. It can be 8, it can be 9. We just never know.
It's not on the ticket?
The concert start was 6, but I don't care about these warm-up bands. I'm there to see Limp Bizkit, and I have no clue what time they're going to start.
All right. But full disclosure, Luke, full disclosure, we're going to be honest because I'm your therapist and so is Alexandra and Elsa. This is quite the team you've assembled here. We want to help you. Full disclosure, you are not exactly a super experienced person when it comes to attending concerts.
No.
This might be your first or your second.
Yeah.
Your second. All right. So listen, and no judgment, right? Everybody, no judgment. A man of your age, you would think, has been to multiple of these events. No judgment.
As I've said
You think
before,
I'm at your age, but no.
No.
as,
Well, because I'm almost twice his age, and I have been to many of these events, and I know when you buy that ticket, expect nothing except total chaos. What you get is what you get, and that's the end of that. But Luke, you didn't expect that.
no, I
right?
expected it, but then
That's
I want to know specifically what time my band, which I paid for, is going to start.
Yes,
Because I'm there to
last.
see them. I'm not there
Yes.
to see bands I've never heard of.
I understand that. And your band was the
Yeah.
headliner. Limp Bizkit was the headliner. Yes. The time that they show up is last. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
it. You have to
There's
really adjust your life to last. Go ahead.
The music was insane. It was amazing, but that's not my concern. My concern is around the culture. You get there at 6, and I thought, yeah, maybe we'll start at 8, 8:30, but no, nowhere even close to that.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I mean, listen, it is a little bit excessive, okay? So, like, usually, yeah, they will be late, they will be very late, but it sounds like in this particular instance, it was a bit excessive. So, even for someone more experienced, no judgment, I would still think I would still think that's a really long time to wait. I don't know, Dave, have you had what was the longest that you that you waited for.
Well, I'll share my story, but we still have to fix Luke here. I want Luke. But you now have several beers way above the one beer plan. You and Nelly, and I guess your brother. Well,
No,
we don't
my
care about him. What's
Nelly
that?
doesn't drink.
Oh, oh, well, that's great.
Yeah.
So half the price. You're getting half price 9 pound
Well,
beers because you're not buying
yes
two.
and no.
I'm
So
just kidding.
at the venue, she wanted some chocolate. You know them grab bags of mini buttons or whatever. Usually £1 in the shop. £5.
Mm. Yeah. All right. Well, you got there early. Let's be clear. You also got there early. I mean, I wish you
No.
had brought this up at the last episode. We would have. I think I would have helped. Listen, don't get there. Don't leave at 1 o'clock for a 2 o'clock train for a 6 o'clock concert.
Yeah.
It's way early. You got there way early, and you got to be careful what you wish for. You're gonna get it, and you got it. You got early, and you're not in a parking lot with your car hanging out
No.
with all the other biscuits. Listening, drinking and eating. That's what people do. Were there a lot of people outside this arena? Was it or the stadium? Was it a stadium or an arena?
Arena.
An arena. So there's not
Yeah.
cars on the outside of it.
No.
No parking lot. All right. It's in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's I wasn't there. It was a tough one, but I know I would have said, Luke, I'll meet you there. You're going to be there way too early. Yeah. That's a tough deal. What time did Limp Bizkit eventually go on?
22:10.
Uh, yeah.
See, it
Maybe.
is a little excessive.
Maybe. Okay. Listen, I wasn't there, but
And Mr. Fred Durst was asking in the concert, "Who's got work tomorrow?" Well, most of us. And most of us don't live in London as well, so it's a bit difficult getting home as well after.
right. I recall. I thought. Correct me. I guess I'm wrong. I thought you were going to take Monday off,
I took Monday off, yeah, but
but
we had to go home in any case because Nelly was working the next day, and my brother was working next day. So
right. But your brother doesn't live with you, and you're not
no,
married to
he
your
lives
brother.
even further away. So he had
Okay.
an even more arduous journey to get home.
Yeah, we don't care about your brother. I only care about you and Nelly. And I thought Nelly was taking off as well. So wow. So yeah, that's a risky thing to do is to leave early, expect the rock and roll bands, you know, you know, rock and roll bands to be on time and all that and then make it that you can get home and get plenty of sleep so Nelly can go to work because she works in the morning like a
Yeah,
normal
she starts at
person.
9 though. She's not too early.
Yeah, well, that's it's wakey time at 9 o'clock. All right, so you got an hour of biscuits.
An hour, yeah.
How was it?
The music was amazing. We got all the best songs anyway, but it's not the point.
Yeah.
We
Was there
missed
any thought that you would stay and you would send Nelly and your brother home?
Well, there's no way for me to get home then. We've got the last train home, so
Oh, you were train bound. You were a prisoner of the schedule. You don't
yeah.
have. It's not like in New York we have like 24-hour service. Wow, no judgment. All right, listen.
But
That's
this is outside of London. He needs to, he needs
yeah,
to.
I guess. Yeah, I get it. I get it. All right. Well, so overall, Luke, how was your experience looking back? Travel
Um,
and everything.
it was great, but also a nightmare at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's rock and roll, baby. That's rock and roll. I've had that. That's great. All right. Well, anything else you want to share with us about this? Will you be doing this again anytime
Yeah.
soon? Music
Yes,
travels? Yes. What's
yes.
next on your music travel agenda?
Nelly's booked Sting.
Sting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. He's the headliner.
yes.
And how many bands will be playing ahead of
No
Sting?
idea.
Where's the ticket? What time does it start? And where do you have to
I don't
go?
know, but we're not getting there
Okay.
at 6 for sure.
No.
You're not
Okay.
going to
Well,
great things.
we'll
I've
see.
learned a
We'll
lesson
see.
on that.
When is this going to happen?
October.
Oh, we have plenty
Yeah,
of time.
yeah, a while away. Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's see. By the way, guys, I know last show you guys complained about my volume. I lowered it so it's not so loud in your ears. Is it lower?
Yeah, it's better.
All right. Good. I lowered it. It's pretty low. Let me know if you can't hear me, but I'll keep on talking louder. I don't care. All right. So listen. All right. So October is the Sting. Wow. We have
You
a.
can pitch it up. You can
Maybe
Oh,
pitch
yeah.
it
I
up.
can.
Like,
Okay. Thank
a
you.
little
Thank you.
bit just.
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. All right.
Like, please do.
Sting. Okay. Thank you, Elsa. Sting. All right. From the Police solo. He's solo. And who's interested in Sting? You or Nelly?
Really.
Nelly's interested in Sting. Yeah, he's okay. All right. Did she, well, it doesn't matter. I was going to ask, did she like the Police? Did you like the Police? Doesn't matter.
I don't
Sting.
know much about music, to be honest.
Yeah.
The Police was also a long time ago. I don't know that.
Yes. Well, yeah, that was me being a teenager. All right. I'm dating myself. All right. So, good. I can't wait to hear about that. Hopefully that won't be a night. We will help you with that, Luke. We will be your therapists and travel agents. I promise you.
And what was the first concert that you attended, like ever?
Roleplay.
Coldplay.
It was
Okay.
amazing as well.
Right.
All right.
Did you stay for the entire show?
Yes, we did.
Alexandra, since we're going alphabetical order today, do you have a music travel story to share with us? And Elsa, you'll be next. We'll go around the horn here.
Well, yeah, sort of, but the thing is with me, I don't, because I did also like study music for a while. I'm very, very sensitive to, people not playing, in tune, singing off key, all of that. And with live music, unfortunately, that's always a lot of the time that will, occur. And so, and I get that people like to go to concerts, like for the culture that Luke doesn't like. Like that's, but the rest,
Right.
the rest of us mortals, like, sometimes also enjoy that, the concert culture and all that. So like when I was younger, yeah, I used to go. I didn't really travel that far because this is like when I was still very young and kind of broke. And so I didn't really travel that far. Like I would travel around Romania basically to see some bands, mostly local, but sometimes international bands as well. And like I remember seeing, I don't know if you guys know Nightwish. You don't know Nightwish.
Nightwish is Iranian black metal.
They're not Iranian black metal. They're
I was
goth
guessing.
metal or something. They're European. I forget which country. But anyway, they were very popular like when I was a teenager. And one of the guys in the band started his own band that was called I forget what it was called.
Okay. But
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 anyway, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
travel. How about travel? Did you in your hitchhiking days? First of
Yeah.
all, do we know that you studied music? I don't even know we even knew that. What did you study? And then tell us about. Do you have a hitchhiking story to a
Oh,
concert? An arduous journey of an hour or more?
yeah, well, the other way around. So to see this guy that I was telling you about, like the band that this guy started, to go there, I didn't hitchhike, but to come back home, I did. But I wasn't by myself. I was with some friend. I don't remember part. It's a
No.
bit of a blur, like, but I do
Okay.
remember that we did hitchhike, and it was actually it was very pleasant because it was summer, and the guy who picked us up had like this very cool car with AC, and it was very nice.
Alexandra.
Okay.
This is all of what I remember from that. Yeah, but I did
Alexandra,
what?
did you hitchhike back from the concert because you missed your last train by any chance?
No, it's just because I kind of drank all of my money or something.
Okay. It's honesty. Honesty. All right, Alexandra. That's great. Thank you very much. Elsa, do you have a traveling to music story? Anything that combines travel and music?
Look, I live near Dubai, which is the city of events and music and concerts and whatever. So basically, I'm so used to that culture, but at a certain point, I'm like, okay, now this is too crowded, too many people, too much doing like too much, overly crowded, just to see like 6 people on stage doing crazy stuff and then coming back home and then getting stuck in an unbelievable traffic. I'm like, nah, uh-uh. I ain't doing that
Wow.
for no bloody reason. I can go on YouTube, play as much music as I want, doing what I want, and I can do that. But I I do have an experience because I was studying event management. So I have this experience in helping in crowd control in a small concert that happened in Medina Jumeirah. And it was actually a very eye-opening experience to see what happens in the backstage, and how people are directed here and there and here and there. And it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing to see. And plus, come on, I'm an interpreter, so like we are in events like as our daily bread. So yeah.
Okay. You've never had to interpret a concert, have you? I know there's sign language interpreters interpret concerts. Have you ever had to? Have you worked at a concert as an
No, I
interpreter?
wish. I
Yeah,
wish, but I haven't. But I don't
yeah.
do sign language. But
I know. Yeah.
yeah, I never had to interpret
Okay.
in concerts per
All
se.
right. All right.
So yeah.
All right. So no long trips, no delays, no stories of hardship or danger or risk for Elsa in this show. Okay, that's fine.
No.
Yeah. All right,
Very
Elsa.
bland.
No, it's fine. That's fine. You have a criteria that makes a lot of sense. I feel the same way you do a lot of the time, but then I end up changing my mind. Let me just take this moment here to share with everybody. And Elsa, I hope you don't mind. If you do, then we'll just edit this out. Elsa, by the way, everybody, Alexandra, Luke, and anybody who's watching, is an amazing dancer. She's an amazing dancer.
Oh,
She is what feat? I don't know how she does it, but she has. I watched her videos. You should see it. How do they find this, Elsa? Is it on Facebook? Oh, your videos?
my Facebook, my YouTube. Also, I'm trying to upload them on my YouTube,
Yeah,
my Instagram. Sorry, I'm also
um,
trying to upload on TikTok. So yeah.
amazing
All
dancer,
right, thank you so
amazing.
much.
Yeah, you and your partner with the feet and the movement. I've seen that style of dance before. I know it's ridiculous to talk about it because nobody knows what we're talking about, but I've seen that style before, and I stare at your feet. I'm like, I don't know what she's doing. She's doing something. It's very fast, and it's just really impressive. I got to tell you, I would love to do that. That's part of my Master of Discipline, Dave's Fit Life retirement plan is to study that. And it's a discipline. You worked very hard for that. You didn't do that
Oh
overnight,
yeah.
or yeah, and you didn't
Oh
come
yeah.
into this. Yeah, I know. We'll talk about it. I want to talk to you about it more, but we can't because it has nothing to do with travel. But you're going to take this
And
further?
spoiler
Yes. Go ahead.
alert. Spoiler
Yes.
alert.
Yes.
We are soon going to have
Yes.
someone who will be talking about that with a lot of experience, and
On the show.
who is my trainer basically, is gonna be
Oh.
here with us
Oh.
on our podcast. We're
I saw
preparing
that.
for that, and I'm super excited.
Good. I bet you are. That's good. I'm excited too. Hopefully, we'll have some video and we'll show everybody what I'm talking about because I was very impressed. That was amazing. It's really good. Okay. Well, Elsa, great for you. It's fantastic. And I know I baited everybody. And Luke and Alexandra are like, what is he talking about? But you guys
No,
should check out
no.
her. Have you seen it, Alexandra?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Okay. And yeah, if I don't, I mean, Elsa, before you learned how to do what we saw you doing, did you know how to do that like at home? Like, was there preparation or you just went in cold? Like you didn't know anything and then you knew something. You know what I'm saying?
Um, it's a long story actually,
Oh,
because I went there to do salsa, like normal salsa they do in LA and New York and whatever. And then I got introduced to this type of Colombian traditional salsa, which is called salsa caleña, that comes from Cali. And as soon as I saw the moves, I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me.
mm,
This is something that looks really beautiful and sharp and fast, and something that really speaks to me. And I was like, okay. And it was my trainer who introduced me to that. Another trainer, but like he's also super amazing. And he said, I think you're gonna enjoy that more. And I would see him moving in a way that is different from others. And then when I started learning that style, I knew why. And I knew why I liked it more. So this is how I decided, like, oh, okay, so okay, I want to study all the other styles just for me to be able to dance in socials. But if there's something I want to focus on in particular, it was that style. And so now with my current trainer, we are like cleaning up the entire technique, and like we're spending a half hour on one move, spending half an
wow.
hour.
Wow.
But I can promise you, I don't feel like the the class is passing. I don't feel it when he tells me that the class is over. I'm like, what? Really? It
Right,
went too fast.
right.
But like I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon.
Okay.
It's like really the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
That's
It,
my
it it
take on
looks
it.
heavenly. You look heavenly. It's fantastic. Hopefully you'll do it. Is there? We'll talk about it when you have the guests. But is there going to be like a recital, like a closing class, where a graduation? Like, is that the thing? Like, are you going to do this in public, in front of people? Was this
Oh yeah.
okay? All
I
right.
do have a performance before and it's on my Instagram as well.
Performance. Thank you for helping me out with big words. All right. Thank you very much, Elsa. That's great. Fantastic. Luke, if you haven't seen it, you should see it. It was amazing.
I've
All right. Yeah.
seen bits, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I can't, I want to say it's cat-like, but it's not cat-like. It's something you're so fast. It's like you have more than 2 feet, but in a graceful way. It's a lot of movement, really quick movement. I don't even, I'm going to stop because I'll go on and on. But great job, Elsa. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so
You,
much.
you're welcome. You're welcome. I hope I didn't embarrass you. It was very. I was like, I clicked on it and went, oh my God, it's Elsa. And then you started doing this thing. I go, what is she doing? I can't believe she's doing this. I was sitting there like talking to myself. It was great. Okay. All right. Uh, so music and travel. So I have to have a story now. So I have 100 stories, and I got to pick one. And we have 35, 40 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't have a 30-minute story to tell you. I have several minute stories to tell you. It's just, I spent a lot of time. So where I live in New York is the state neighbors are Connecticut and New Jersey. This is what they call the tri-state area. If I was a good podcast host, I would show you the Google Maps. New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. All the music that was played in my area was the tri-state area. Everything was tri-state music, tri-state bands, tri-state clubs. It was the circuit. There was Massachusetts, but it was really New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Anyway, and if you were on tour as a national act or an international act or a local act, you'd be all over the place. You'd be in Hartford in Connecticut, in New York City in New York, maybe Albany, New York, and just all these locations and Pennsylvania too. But that's like now you have 5 states, but it's really the tri-state. If you have a car, if you're a young man like I was once upon a time, and you have a vehicle, you are MVP. Like if you have a car, you drive and I had no money like everybody else. I was broke. But if you have a car, you're everybody's best friend. I had not a car, I had a van. I had a van, which is basically stupid young man's way of saying bus. I had a bus, like let's get in. It was the Dave Mobile, and we had the Dave Mobile, and it was trashed. It was inside. I was a slob. I didn't clean up. We picked up furniture from the street, and free furniture. We put in furniture that had legs, and then the legs broke. So we had I invented the futon. That's what I did. I invented the futon because we had a couch or whatever with legs, and then the legs broke. So now we had a futon. I'm assuming everybody knows what a futon is. So anyway, but we would drink in this van. We would eat in this van. We would be involved in other activities in this van, mostly maybe they're legal now. I don't know. Again, another story where the statute of limitations, I think, are long gone. We actually were in a parking lot once, all hanging out with rock and roll. Somebody had a boombox. That's the other guy. The guy who has the van, the bus, the Dave Mobile, you're number one. But if you have the boombox, you guys are too young. But if you have that big boombox, then you're number two. Like we need you. And the guy who has this and this, you're number three. You're number three. I mean, there really was a pecking order of who was the most popular. And but by the way, we were all broke. Everybody was broke because money for the gas for the van and the drugs and the drink and the food and all that stuff. So we're always broke. One time we were in a parking lot and a cop came into the parking lot, a policeman, a car with the two guys, and we were all hanging out. And he says, "Who wants this van?" I said, "I do." And now understand, I'm not an old bald man at that time. I am a young person. I have a lot of hair, and I don't know. I wasn't wearing any whatever T-shirt, like an AC/DC. We're all rocked out, leather jackets, denim jackets. It's a hideous. What's the word? It's
Concoction.
what's that?
Concoction.
No, a motley crew. We were like a motley crew. That's what we were. We were like long hair and a bunch of losers. Anyway, so my best friend, like his eyes were never fully open. I used to have a best friend. He's a bass player. His eyes were never. That's why I went up to him because he was so unassuming. He was such a nice guy. I said, "Hey, my name is David. He said, how you doing?" And I didn't know he was a bass player, but his eyes were half open, so I thought he'd be a good friend. It turns out he was a great friend for a long time. Anyway, and he was in many bands, which was another. If you're a musician, that's also great. So there's a big pecking order. I should really make a top 10 list of pecking order of rock and roll in the United States. Anyway, so yeah, he said, "What's inside the van?" I says, "Nothing. Nothing you want to see." And he goes, "I want to see. I want to see." And he wasn't smiling. He was like, because he knew something illegal most likely was going on, and I had a van. It was a New York City telephone van. I had these doors. We opened up the doors, and he went in the flashlight. He said something like, "Holy shit! Like what the hell is happening in here?" With the flashlight, I go, "Yeah, everything happens in here." And he goes, "You ever think about cleaning this?" I go, "Yeah, no, I don't know. We're busy." He goes, "Busy?" Yeah, I know. We'll clean it. And I don't know if I ever did, but eventually the van crapped out one day. But we traveled. The whole thing, the point of the story is we had a van. We traveled. I have 100 stories, but we traveled all over the tri-state area. We saw bands like Twisted Sister. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Twisted Sister?
Yeah.
No, not Luke. No, Luke only knows Coldplay and Limp Bizkit, and but no judgment. And so Twisted Sister, Zebra. Do you know Zebra? Have you ever heard of Zebra? And you definitely never heard of the Good Rats. Never heard of the Good Rats. I must have seen the Good Rats over 100 times. And the lead singer's name was Peppy. And if I was a good podcast host, I would show the album covers. Their mascot was a mouse, a rat. Anyway, rock and roll, a lot of travel. Go ahead, Elsa. You got something to say?
Why a
So
rat? I mean, come on.
a Good Rat. That was the name of the band, A Good Rat. Now remember, years later, California has a band called Rat, right? But this was the Good Rats. Listen, this is 1970, 1980. Elsa, this is a long time ago. Black and white TV. MTV wasn't even started yet at this point. It was just coming on. So, yeah, we did a lot of miles. We traveled all over the tri-state. Sometimes we didn't sleep and we went to work. There were no trains. We took trains eventually to New York City because New York City is very difficult to park. So we saw Kiss there. We saw Madison Square Garden. You all heard of Madison Square Garden. But we had a lot of concert halls. We had Nassau Coliseum. We had the Madison Square Garden. We had just clubs. We had halls, and we just traveled a lot. We never hitchhiked. We never took an expensive train. We took the train to city, but it was always in the Dave Mobile, and we would just plan like you know concerts all the time. We were always going. If we didn't, there was a club locally, but if we weren't going to the local club, we were going to a concert. I don't even know how many miles I did. I have no idea how much money we spent. I bought a T-shirt almost at every concert because those T-shirts, again, I wish I had them, but I have all these T-shirts from Van Halen. You know Van Halen, right? We know Van Halen. I want to know how old I am. Van Halen, Journey, Styx, Foreigner, like all over the place, thousands of people, and it was a good time. I know that there are a lot of concerts that I might have started a little bit early. See, Luke, this is how I know. I might have started a little bit early with the party, and by the time the closing band came on, I was asleep. I was in my seat like this. I was knocked out, and then I wouldn't wake up. Ozzy Osbourne. I slept through Ozzy Osbourne. I slept through a whole Ozzy Osbourne concert. I slept through Rush. Do we know Rush? I
Yeah.
slept all through Rush. This. So I was a lot of fun before I fell asleep, and then when I woke up, I was also fun, and I drove. So it might have been a good idea that I took a nap, a long
Yeah.
2 hour nap. But yeah, so there was a lot of late shows, and nobody's ever on time, nobody's ever early, and they do that purposely to build up. There's so much going on. You never expect 8 o'clock to be 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock always means 10 o'clock. And I do have other stories, and none of them are dangerous or scary. They're all good. We always had a good time. Nobody ever got hurt, and it was just a bunch of guys, just a motley crew of you know bums, just whatever
I have
derelicts.
another story.
Yeah. Oh, you have another one, Luke?
So
All
when
right.
we was in Prague last year,
Okay.
We were just walking in the street, like doing the touristy thing, and we came across this impromptu concert in a church. It was Vivaldi, Four Seasons. So they were selling tickets. This was like the morning when we came across this, and they were selling tickets for that night. So we decided to, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And then as we bought the tickets, as we walked away, Nelly was saying to me, "Oh, that's a scam. Our money's gone." But it wasn't. So we went back to that concert that night, like classical violin playing, and it was very nice, the concert.
Oh,
Really nice.
It reminded me
okay.
of Sister Act.
Sorry?
It reminded me of this scene
Oh,
on Sister Act
yeah.
when they start singing and then people start hearing the sound from outside, and then they just out of curiosity they would come into this church and they would enjoy their time just listening to the songs. It's just like I don't know, it reminded me of this.
This
Yeah, our music, my music is quite diverse, how I like my music. I like all different kinds of genres.
All right.
speaking of Vivaldi, he was born in Venice, and when I was in Venice, of course there was a well, they organize this type of stuff all the time, concerts like the local orchestra. I think there's like an orchestra either with his name or something. I forget now, the details escape me, but I did go to a concert that was also, I think, in a church, or former church, sort of converted into music hall, as very beautiful music. They didn't just play Vivaldi, of course, it was just Vivaldi, but also like other composers from that same era. And those, I had started saying like a lot of the rock and roll bands, when you hear them live, they will play, the singer's not gonna sing in key and all that. So, but with classical music, you can be sure that this is the only time when the live performance will far surpass whatever recording that you can get. So like that's one thing that I definitely go to these days, and not to be like all I don't know, posh or whatever you want to call it, but just like from a music perspective, it's like if you're into the music and not necessarily like the concert culture, that's a great music genre to experience live, because it's like the sound is so much richer, so much fuller, like the recording can never
Replicate.
yeah, exactly, can never replicate the same sound quality. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
one thing.
these violin players were unbelievably talented.
Mhm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to share some videos of Limp Bizkit and the Vivaldi concert on our YouTube, so check it out.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Looking forward to it. All right. Was there a mosh? By the way, did you sit for Olympus? We talked about that.
We start, yeah.
You did
And
sit.
there was a mosh pit, yeah.
There was a mosh pit. People
So
bouncing around, getting tossed in.
that made the music even better, because the mosh pit were just going crazy and it made the whole atmosphere raise around the building. Yeah, it was amazing.
All right. So there's no seats in front of the stage.
No.
Wow. Okay. Did you see anybody get hurt? Was it okay? Were people being lifted up? Were they moving people around?
No one
They
got
don't do that.
hurt, but at one point, Fred Durst said, "There's no fighting at a Limp Bizkit concert." So he was talking to the crowd like, "We don't fight at Limp Bizkit concerts." So
We
there must
don't.
have been some kind of trouble, which I didn't really see.
Okay. All right. Wow. All right. So where can we go with this? I mean, I have 1,000 stories, but that's basically. How about what's the biggest crowd? And does anybody did anybody ever go to Live Aid? Has anybody been in like a 100,000 seat
Oh,
auditorium or arena?
on this point, Nelly was supposed to tell this story, but I'll tell it on her behalf. She was watching Rolling Stones in Rio at the Copacabana, and there was more than 1 million fans at this concert.
Copacabana is what? What is that? That's the arena?
Copacabana Beach.
Oh, it was
There was
an
more than,
outdoor show.
yeah, there was more than 1 million fans at this Rolling Stones concert in Brazil.
Wow. Well, that's probably going to be the winner. A million's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Anybody else? 100,000, 50,000, anything like that? An outdoor festival, a weekend? Anybody go get wasted for a weekend?
I mean, yeah, I've been to festivals, not of my own volition, I have to say. It wasn't necessarily no, because here's the thing, like if these opportunities had come my way when I was a teenager, it would have been great, But like I said, I was broke when I was a teenager. I couldn't afford this type of stuff. So they came, in my late 20s, where I don't know. It's like I already have like a different different expectations, from the music event. And so yeah, I didn't. It wasn't bad, but I wasn't like that into it, so I don't really remember. But there was a lot of people that I don't know how many people. What I do remember, and like, and I would do again, is this great violinist, one of the best in the world. Because we have in Romania, we have this music festival, like classical music festival. It's called Georgia Enescu Festival. It happens every 2 years, and a lot of guests from all around the world that are in the world of classical music come here. And one time, this great violinist Maxim Vengerov, I forget how to pronounce his last name. He actually played here in Cluj, where I'm at, and this is amazing. It was absolutely incredible music. He's a great name, one of the greats, in this world of, worldwide famous violinists. So yeah, that's a big name, and I'll always remember that performance dearly. But in terms of like festivals or the shows where there were a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, there's I've been to Electric Castle, which is like another like famous festival that happens here near Cluj. And usually they have like many, like at the people in attendance. I can search to find out how many there were that year that I went, but I have to say, like, for me, like it wasn't that. I don't know. I'm sure, like, to some people it's amazing. Like, it's one of those, like going wild experiences. So, but for me, like, it wasn't that big of a deal. I don't know I don't know what that says about me. I think, you know,
I don't know. I don't know either. But I think it says that you should probably change your attitude on taking pictures. Because if you take pictures, you wouldn't have to remember. I know you said, I
yeah,
don't want to take pictures.
yeah,
Start taking pictures of where you go. This way you want to remember. But
yeah.
no, that's fine. But so no, nothing like a big Wembley thing or 100,000 people or with a 3-day festival. Nothing like that. Okay.
I
No.
went to
Oh,
Wembley.
all right. You've been to Wembley. Who did
Yeah,
you see?
Coldplay.
Coldplay, right? Okay. God,
That
so
was
I
quite
mean, you have
cool.
one
Yeah,
of two options, Dave. If it's not one, it's the other.
but Wembley is super huge. That's like
yeah,
100,000 people, right? That's the
yeah.
biggest. That's one of the biggest. Elsa, a major event, beautiful place, thousands of people. A weekend. Any craziness with music and travel?
Music and travel.
I'll take any event at this point.
Not, not much that of a major event. A lot of major events happen here. For example, Coldplay was here in Abu Dhabi and all that. But if the World Cup counts,
Oh, you've been to World Cup. Okay, we'll take. They play music at World Cup. You've been to a World Cup event. How long ago?
yes, in 2022, it was in Qatar.
Sold out. Totally sold out.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
There
know
was a
the?
big difficulty to find tickets. There was a lot of things happening. They had these fan zones as well, where they would also broadcast the games and have also a lot of entertaining events and
Right.
food and whatever, and they were packed. We had to walk the entire freaking city to be able to move. But we didn't feel it. It was like so positive and so nice and so laid back. So
Right.
it was a very impressive work in terms of organization, in terms of respect to people, in terms of positivity and good energy and whatnot. It was amazing.
Wow. So, do you have an attendance number? Do you know how many people were in attendance in at the World Cup in a
In the
match, one
millions.
match? Millions. No, you can't, well, not in one stadium. I mean, everybody, millions are watching, but in this stadium, it was sold out. Do you know how
I
many people? 50,000, 100,000?
I don't remember because each stadium had a different capacity.
Right.
So they had like
Okay.
8 stadiums or something like that. So the capacity is different, but like of course we're talking hundreds of thousands of people, of course.
How many stadiums are in Dubai?
Not in Dubai, in Qatar.
Oh, Qatar.
It was in
How many
Qatar.
stadiums are in Qatar that you're talking about? Are there more than one stadium?
I think
Yeah.
they built.
Yes, they had around 8.
They
That's
were
a lot
built
of stadiums.
especially for this World Cup, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Specially built for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Are they still standing?
Some of them are. One of them was dismantled, and I think it was transferred to another country. I think it was Tunisia. They chose Tunisia to transfer it. It was the 974 stadium. You have Lusail Stadium, which is so majestic. It's so beautiful. You have one Khalifa Stadium or something like that near the Torch Tower. Um, I will not tell you what the stadium is called because it's like so funny. We will talk about this later on.
Okay. All right. All right.
They they have also other stadiums. Oh my God.
We should have
Okay.
been.
There are
That's
so many,
fine.
but these 3 are the most were the most prominent during the World Cup.
We should have
Okay.
come prepared with the numbers today. David is asking us about the capacity.
Yeah, no, it's okay. That's how we roll. We're bad hosts. We're bad guests. We're winging it all. Listen. Nobody knows this, but the four of us do, or the three of us. We barely made it on air today. We all had technical problems of a sort. One of us had a time issue. The rest of us had technical problems. So it's okay. It's all good. So I'm trying to think. I've been to concerts outdoor. I never went to a festival where I slept over. I never did that, but I've gone to a lot of outdoor shows. I remember seeing like Sammy Hagar back in the day open up for somebody else, and then Journey. It was like 3 bands, and it was called the Tangerine Bowl, I think, in Florida. I think it might have been called the Tangerine Bowl. And I wasn't really a big Journey fan, but I'm with these guys and we got time off, so we go see Journey. Do we know Journey? Am I dating myself again with
Yeah.
Journey? All right. So, Steve Perry or whatever. I think it's Steve Perry. Joe Perry, Steve Perry. It doesn't matter. But Sammy Hagar, they had, he's a guitar player and a singer. And I thought he was really cheesy because he had that red. Remember, he was like with the red, I Can't Drive 55. And he had that funny outfit. Remember back in the day, they dressed up like a cartoon character or whatever. But he would climb up this. He had the first guy I saw with a headset. Everybody used to have a microphone, right? Everybody I saw was singing into a microphone. He was the first guy I saw that would sing into a headset. I remember saying to my buddy, "What's with that guy? Why would you wear a headset? Where's his microphone?" Oh, now I know why. Because he would climb the speakers. They had a wall of Marshall stacks, if you know what Marshall stacks are.
Yeah.
Marshalls, because he's a guitar player. And he climbed all the way to the top. And the crowd went nuts. They're like, "Wow, I can't believe he climbed to the top." I can't even tell you how high it was. It was almost as high as the lights. They stacked it, so high, I guess for a visual effect. And maybe all the speakers were plugged in. I don't know. It was pretty loud. And it was wild to watch him climb. And I said, wow, I guess that was worth the price of admission. It was only like $10, $15 back in the, concerts were very cheap, very affordable back in the day. I mean, we never had money, but we always found money for concerts. But that was pretty impressive. So yeah, I went to a lot of outdoor. I never did a multiple day. I never slept over. I never camped out. And we would travel anywhere, 2 hours, 3 hours. It made no difference. We loved it because the party was in the van, and we never got in trouble. By the way, that's amazing. I know we should probably be positive now. No, no drinking and driving, no doing drugs and driving, and pay attention.
Right.
I don't know if I can get behind that. I don't know if that's necessarily true. If the 3 of you want to go campaign on that, I say that's great. I got to tell you, I think it's nice to have a little fun in the Dave Mobile on the way to a show that's going to be a little wicked. So a little whatever. But I mean, I'm joking. Actually, it's very unsafe to drink and drive. I don't want letters saying that I'm encouraging. I don't encourage it. But I'm going to do it.
What's the best drug that you can do and drive? What's a drug that you do where you become more focused on the road? Because maybe you can get behind that.
I have the answer for that. I totally have the answer for that. I'm telling you, this is the truth. This is the God's honest truth. So strike me, whatever. So how do I politely say this? Marijuana.
Really?
Marijuana. Let me tell you what
I
happened.
don't believe that.
One day, oh, absolutely. We really involved ourselves in a very good quality whatever it was. By the way, the purchasing of it is a whole nother story. That's another podcast. It's not going to be the travel podcast.
Is
We're going
it?
to edit this all out.
Did you
This will never see
travel?
the light of day.
Okay, all right.
Is it travel? Well, we travel. Believe me, we were traveling pretty far. Once you do a little bit of that, you're elsewhere. Anyway, so I used to drive a classic American car, and I still own it, but it doesn't drive. It's called a 1957 Chevy Bel Air. It's a four-door Bel Air. When I got rid of the van, or the van got rid of me, actually, kind of blew up. But yes, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a whole nother story. But I had this 1957 Chevy. It's a classic American muscle car, except mine wasn't muscles. Mine was, pretty subdued, but it was all I can afford. And it was big. It's like a checkered cab of a sort. Anyway, one day we were at the beach or wherever we were, at a club, whatever we were, and we got pretty involved. We got pretty high, pretty high. And then it was time to leave. Whatever time that was, it was time to leave. And I can tell you, we got in the car. There was four of us, five of us, six of us. I have no idea. And I drove home. It took forever because I would just at the stop sign, I would give it a little gas, and we would just creep. And we had the music blaring, and we would creep, and nobody said a thing. Nobody said. We just creep. Cars are passing us. I'm on the side, and there's parked cars. There's me, and then people going around me constantly. But it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not a lot of traffic, so I did it. I picked a good time of the day to drive. Like my grandmother, worse, slower than my grandparents. My son calls it. He calls it pedo speed. Like if you're a pedophile, you might drive really slow. I have the worst information here, but it's very slow, very, very slow, as if we're up to no good. And we weren't really up to good. We wanted to go home, but not really. But we knew we had to not stay at the beach or the club. So yeah. So if you take that substance, you will drive really, really slow. And then you get to the stop sign. And then the trick is when you stop at a stop sign or a stoplight, you got to stay awake. Try to stay awake because you don't want to fall asleep at the light. And, it can happen. Then somebody tells you, hey, Dave, it's time to go. The light's green. Then you go. And, the music's loud and that's it. So I didn't expect that question. We didn't prepare that, Alexandra. Let's tell everybody. We just made that up. And that's true.
So
I didn't drink. I didn't drink and drive. I was a smoker. I didn't drink.
Well,
on festivals, let's
Yeah.
turn it back a bit to the good stories.
I'm sorry. This was a great story.
Yeah, it was a great story, but a bit on the edge.
My story?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
a
Okay.
bit on the edge. So
Don't you just see edge all over my face? I am the edgiest person ever.
to turn it back about festivals, I've actually been to a festival in Coventry.
Okay.
It's like a free festival. No, it's not free. It used to be free. No, it's not. Yeah, and
Coventry being a football club. That's
no,
I got to explain it to.
music festival.
Oh, okay.
It used to be free. The festival, Godiva Festival, used to be free, but now they charge for it. No, I don't go. But when it was free, I went with my dad one year, and we were drinking real ale, and got totally wasted.
You and your dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
We got
more
totally wasted on
tradition.
real ale.
What's that, Alexandra?
I was just telling you, it's a European tradition. It's your parents here who introduce you to alcohol for the first time, and they do it so that you're not, or at least the stories that I've heard around me, and in my case as well, like your parents will give you a glass of wine or a glass of beer because they think you're going to be curious, and I'd rather you try this with me, in a safe environment, because I know you're going to try it with your friends later on. And I don't want you to think that this is like a big deal or something like very cool to do, and you be
Right.
curious and then end up doing it in an unsafe environment. So yeah.
Makes sense. If I have another child, I will keep that in mind. I think that's a good idea. They discourage that in the United States. It's a big deal. You can get arrested for getting your children. Luke, who was what was the music that you saw at this festival, this Coventry?
Some live local bands mainly.
Okay.
Just Morale was one, and the Enemy. The Enemy are quite famous.
And then Luke, just for our American audiences, please tell us, how old were you when this was happening? You were having beer with
Uh,
your dad.
Great
it
question.
would have been 15, 10,
Yeah,
15 years ago.
I wanted to point that out because for Americans, it's gonna be so weird that you're drinking with your parents at 15, but this is just like regular.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah, I was a grown adult. Yeah.
And
So,
how old was your dad? Wait.
well,
Specifically, how old were you and how old was your dad?
um, I don't know.
Okay.
It's a long time ago.
All right. So, did all your other friends have the same father and son experience?
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
A lot of
That's
people,
amazing.
yeah.
All right. Well, so we definitely learned something today. You know, Luke, very edgy, drinking with dad at
And
a concert. That's great.
it was a really
15.
hot day as well. And he had his shirt undone, like all the buttons undone. And then after the concert, when we were totally wasted, we decided to go to a normal pub. One of my uncles owns a pub locally in Coventry, like a bit of an upmarket club. And then he was doing his shirt up, like all the buttons were in the wrong place and everything. It was funny now looking
Yeah.
back.
That's a great story. All right. That's why I don't think I've shed any more than a soda with my dad. So good for you, Luke. That's Elsa and Alexandra. Did you do stuff with your moms or anything? Is this go with the girls as well as the boys?
for me, yeah. I mean, I've had the same experience with but not with my mom, just like with my parents, with my family, and grandparents too, like everyone. It's just
Young,
yeah,
young.
very young. I remember, so like the first time that I've ever tasted wine, I was very little. I was maybe like in first grade or something. And the reason why I got to taste it was because it was it was
Yeah.
like my whole family, my parents, my grandparents, everyone, they were toasting to something. And you know, in Romania, when you do that, you'd say something that translates to good health and good luck or something like that.
Right.
And
Right.
so for
Right.
me, the thing that I said to my grandfather was like, I want good health and good luck as well. And he was just
Yeah.
poured me like a very, very little wine and gave me like a, just to
Yeah.
sort of like partake in the thing. It wasn't like to, obviously, you know, they didn't give me to like drink, you know, endless amounts of alcohol or
No.
something.
So,
Yeah, pretty normal thing.
Elsa. Yeah. Very normal. Absolutely. Elsa, do you have a young story to tell us? Anything you want to reveal to? You don't have to. I mean, this is really some insanity that we're hearing right now, as far as I'm concerned. Elsa, do you have anything you want to share? Do you want to admit anything to the world?
Um, with in relation to that, actually, it went out so naturally in our family, so it doesn't really like there's no like introducing
Yeah.
something to someone. It's like whatever, and we have this in our tradition in church, so we are already introduced um to that, but I mean, and we don't drink too much in the family, but when we have it together, it's fine. I remember my little sister, she would be like, no, I don't drink alcohol or whatever, but hey, but if she wanted to taste something, I would give her from my cup. My brother would give her, my mom would give her. So we're like, taste it and see how it is, and then you decide whether it's a yes or it's a no. It was a no anyway, so
Okay.
it was
All right.
okay.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, that sounds safe. It sounds like a good family and a good life. Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's
then
On
not
the
Yeah, we're
taboo.
we're careful about these things because we have some parts of the family where we saw what it means to get completely wasted, and it's like,
Right.
nah.
Right. Right. All right.
yeah.
Well,
on the
listen. We
subject of sorry, Dave. On
no.
the
Go ahead.
subject of alcohol, Nelly doesn't drink now, but when she was young, she's only had one drink in her life, like one night of drinking, and after that, she never drank again.
Smart move. Smart move. All right. Yeah, I can tell you stories about drinking too. When I listen, we're almost at an hour. We went a little bit over. We're about 20 seconds away. So let's close this up. Well, otherwise, you know, the police will be coming for mostly me, but maybe all of us. Um, Worldwide Travel Podcast, another episode in the books. It's amazing we made it this far. I don't know how many episodes we got, 4 or 5. We have guests coming. Elsa's dancing trainer is coming. I shouldn't point. Elsa's trainer is coming. We have YouTube people coming. We have travel people coming. We've had other guests. We'll have more. We'll have more of these conversations until the authorities come for me, I'll just keep on showing up. I have no, I'm sure the statute of limitations are over. All right, let's go, Elsa. Before I'll go reverse alphabetical order to close the show. Do you have anything to share with us? How can we find? Do you want people to find you on Facebook or somewhere and see these videos?
Of course, of course.
Yes. Share with the world. How do they find you?
So you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook. My name is the same, Elsa Sarkis. I think on Instagram it's like Sarkis Elsa, but it's the same thing. You will see my curly hair anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm mostly present over there. I am also working on expanding my TikTok. So yeah, stay tuned because I have a lot to share.
Excellent. And I just realized now I've been mispronouncing it. It's Sarkis. I say Sarkis because I'm an American moron. But okay, Elsa Sarkis. There you go. I admit it. I know you guys talk about me behind my back. I know.
It's fine.
That's okay.
It's fine.
That's
Whatever you want to pronounce it is cool. So
sounds
no worries.
much more exotic. Sarkis, as opposed to Sarkis. I was like, yeah. Anyway, sounds good. All right. Thank you, Elsa. I look forward to more. Alexandra, give us a goodbye from Alexandra. What's going on? Anything?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can find me on social media, but like, why would you? I like barely post it.
Nothing happening there.
Oh,
What?
outrage. I'm calling outrage.
Outrage. Why? Is she lying? Is there something that she has that she doesn't want us to know? What do you mean
No.
outrage? What? What's the outrage? What happened?
Well,
You tell them.
we can get into it, but then that's another thing. We can go into that on another show. But I'm not lying currently.
Luke, do you know what they're talking about? We
No,
don't have to push the issue. Okay.
No,
It's going to come out. It's going to come out. I know. Listen,
Oh yeah.
I'm not here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, okay.
it's there's stuff from like 30 years ago or 40 years ago, wherever that was, that's coming out, right, Dave? So this is bound to come out as well.
Yeah, I look forward to it. This is amazing. Every show we learn something about, everybody else. It's good. This is what we need to do. We need to really just confess all our sins.
Exactly.
All right, there you go. So we're therapists, we're tour guides, and we take confession, which is fantastic. I think it's really healthy. I think.
Yeah.
So my podcast is Dumbing It Down with Dave. If I can get my microphone to work again, I'll do another episode. But I just did episode 348, Dave's Fit Life. We'll be back soon. We'll do some more. I got a whole new setup here. Everything, the whole world is new, and I'll be continuing to confess to crimes and misdemeanors until they come for me. So tune in again to the next Worldwide Travel Podcast. Luke, and by the way, we will give Elsa, right, Luke? We'll put Elsa's information in the comments and all other stuff, and all that. And Luke, so shut us down here, and then we'll hit the stop button. We went over a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah. So find us on Instagram, Worldwide Travel Podcast. TikTok the same, Facebook the same, and Twitter is WY Travel Pod. And like and subscribe the show. There's more coming in the coming weeks.
More crime,
Okay.
more cocaine stories,
More.
whatever, all of that. Stories
Yeah.
from the Navy, all of that.
Plenty of stories. We don't need guests. We're here. We're the four of us can. All right. So anyway, that's good. What else? I don't have anything else to add to that. Luke, you're looking for guests. If you are a traveler, you've traveled for music, or you've traveled for fun, traveled for business, you traveled with family. If that's your YouTube channel or whatever, it doesn't have to be anything really specific. But we like to include travel. You could be a pilot, like for pilots, or maybe you work on an oil rig somewhere, or you're a miner in Australia, or a cruise ship person, or anything that has.
This would be amazing to get every kind of travel story on the podcast. Yeah.
Or maybe if you're just like an Uber driver, we also want to hear from you as well.
We could do that. We could do Uber driving, or cabs in New York City. I used to drive a cab in New York City. I don't have any X-rated stories for you, so I just want to let you know offhand.
I know that, but okay.
I don't have any X-rated stories that I witnessed. Anyway, I can't keep my mouth shut. It's just horrible. It's a really disease. It's really horrible. Anyway, so that's the story. Worldwide Travel Podcast, another episode in the books. Fantastic to see everybody. And I'm going to hit the button, but you guys know you got to stick around for a little bit. I'll upload this thing and we'll edit it later. All right, guys, take care. See everybody.